Hey, Kowalsky here. Welcome back to another video, another Wednesday, and another World Chess Championship. But this time, just like in the 1921, 29, sorry, World Chess Championship, the situation is not so clear. And, the fact that this is a rematch, Alekhine versus Bogoljubov, after, Alekhine beat Bogoljubov, and, well, he himself stated about this match, and I quote, "This game more than any other proves how useless, from the sporting point of view, was the arrangement of this second match, and at the same time explains my indifferent play on a number of occasions." So Alekhine did not believe that this match was truly a World Chess Championship match, and many regard it as just like an exhibition game. And it's weird because you had all these rising players, and then you had the rematch. Well, Alekhine and Bogoljubov. Now, yeah. I mean, that's why I don't put much value on this World Chess Championships back then, because there was not like a clear structure, and the title, holding it for X amount of years, but you don't play anyone in those years, and then also title defenses, but you kind of choose who you play against. I'm not saying that it takes away from how great a player was. Alekhine still top 5 in my opinion, but that's because he won many tournaments, and he was such a dominant player, so that he can actually be considered the world champion of that period. But his title defenses, I mean, the first one again against Bogoljubov was kind of justified, but this one, I don't know, maybe we can say that it's unjust, just like in the title below here. So without wasting a lot more time, I just want to present you a short game. This is the second game, and Alekhine actually beat Bogoljubov 8-3. So that's a pretty sizable victory. You can compare that to how Carlsen beat Nepo in this World Chess Championship this year, and they played significantly less games. So Bogoljubov played 26 games against Alekhine, and Alekhine won 8, Bogoljubov won 3, and then they drew the rest, and Alekhine got to 15.5 points, and then the match was over. And now, I'm just gonna show you this game. Alekhine has the white pieces, and they play a Slav defense, right? This is characterized by this triangle right here, and you're trying to be solid. If takes, and there are some variations, but this has been played plenty of times. Also, this now variation with d takes c4, because once this captures happens, now you can have this square maybe at some point. I'm not saying right now, for some of your pieces in some ways. Plus, you're stopping at all times d5 with this c6 e6 bind, and you just have very solid position. b5 now, and bishop slides back, and now a6. So this is another way to play it, but now this kind of restricts the bishop a little bit, and you're gonna have to play a little bit more aggressive. But Bogoljubov is no stranger to playing this in a more ambitious style. We have castles, c5 now, a4. And here b4, obviously a necessary move, because otherwise your rook is hanging, and then your pawns are also weak. So the knight just moves in the center. There's no need to go back. And now this trade would only benefit white, as now this rook is attacked, and it's kind of hard to figure out the good place for the rook, because if the rook moves to b8, now I simply close this down, and there's a lot of tension, and these pawns are just gonna be weak here, even if you push the a pawn. So that's like long-term weakness, and we have 94, so that's why Bogoljubov doesn't trade. He goes bishop b7, now attacking the knight, and now finally knight back to d2. But you see, through this maneuver, Alekhine manages to find a brand new set of squares for his knight. So now the knight can access these squares. It probably won't go to b3, but it might make his way to c4. So we have bishop e7 and now a5. Alekhine nicely shuts the door on a5 by black, and you know, is basically saying that he's gonna isolate these pawns and probably try to win them. So queen c7, sorry, castles, knight c4 now, and now queen c7. So we have the following position. Now the position is relatively equal, and if anything, black did emerge very fine out of the opening. Now, how does white proceed in such an opening? Well, first of all, Alekhine moves the queen off his first rank, and you know, now he has some weird pressure on this pawn. It's not really a lot of pressure right now with the rook, but it kind of keeps a little bit of hidden tension down this diagonal here. Also, you know, he can always jump with the knight into e5 and have the backup for this knight, but there's no need to rush that. Knight g4 now, you know, kind of threatening checkmate here, you know, just a little bit kind of threatening checkmate. And you have to be careful, right? If you play h3, right, you just I mean, you would just get checkmated, of course. So that's why Alekhine obviously plays e4, now stopping this bishop. I mean, just blocking the diagonal. And now Bogoljubov manages to take here in the center, but that's no problem. Now h3, the knight is kicked back, and now after this trade of knights, we have just a pin on this knight. And okay, bishop d6, you have to unpin and also defend your knight. And now we have a trade here. Now, you know, Alekhine did this. If you trade like one more time, now it's really hard for white to prove anything. Probably rook a4, but now, I mean, it's gonna be really complicated to prove that you're even, you know, even drawing in this position. I mean, even drawing might be a little bit of an overstatement, as you know, probably after this exchange of pawns is probably gonna turn out to be a draw if no side makes a huge blunder. But knight b6, for example, is, you know, just a better move and definitely a more ambitious move. So I was talking about this pressure here on this pawn. Now the rook would like to you know, to just move out of the way, but to a more active square. But Bogoljubov is forced to keep defending this pawn. And now, right, Alekhine continues in a really natural style. He attacks the queen has to move, and now he tries to double up the rooks. But Bogoljubov strikes back with f5. So what do you do here? Well, you take, because there's no inherent danger. Now, because, you know, black cannot take with the rook, and also black cannot keep this tension. So black cannot afford to keep this tension. So that's why e takes now happens. And okay, you might have some problems if the pawn gets to f3, so you just have to stop that. Rook e1 attacks the bishop. We have queen to g6 now, obviously threatening checkmate here once again. But Alekhine surprisingly, I mean, not surprisingly, obviously doesn't stop. Stops the checkmate. Rook e8, and this move right here by Bogoljubov, surprisingly, this time actually surprising, blunders the game. And I think he simply overlooked one simple fact. The fact that after f4, you're not threatening checkmate anymore, actually, because the queen defends it. And now if you move the bishop, this is hanging at the end of the sequence, right? Because it's pinned. So Bogoljubov might have had some chance had he played something like bishop g3, right? And here, obviously, the computer is saying that, oh, the only way to move forward is knight to d7. And, well, that's how it is. Because you see, black has a lot of pressure. So if you just continue with your normal plan, let's say you want to go, for example, rook c1, now all of a sudden you're lost. After black comes back, attacks your rook, oh, you want to go back, but now it's too late because the bishop already got in. And now, well, let's say you play king h1. Now the queen comes in, and this is now what's possible. And if you try to, let's say, come back with the queen like this, now bishop takes on f3, and that's kind of like the end of the story. If you take the bishop, I mean, you know, you're just gonna lose this, and I mean you're lost here. I'm sure there's an even faster way for black to win this. Oh, it's actually checkmate in 2. I didn't see that. Yeah, now I see it. So yeah, black really had something really dangerous going on, but after this blunder here, Alekhine simply plays f4 and that's it. Queen g3 is tried, but f takes on e5, and now there's no more problem. You give a check, you deflect the bishop. I mean, you would have deflected the bishop. Now, if this, now you can just take the rook here in the center, and this is impossible because of checkmate, so you would have to trade, and now, I mean, you're winning this 100% of times with the white pieces against any opponent. A nice check here by Alekhine. So Bogoljubov tries to stick around here with the king, but now you just give another nice check, and now you're actually, you know, going for some mating attack. G6, queen takes on h7, king f6, rook f8 check, king to g5, and now h4. Really nice check. Well, either, you know, forcing the queen to take, and in that case you can just trade queens and win this rook. Or if black plays king f4 just like in the game, now you go queen h6 check, g5, kind of like the only move, because if you play the king to g5, this is just checkmate in 1. And if you play g5, now we just have rook takes on f5, really nice move, rook takes on f5, and now queen slides over to d6 for the check, and now you have to go king g4, and now bishop takes on f5, and Bogoljubov resigns as he sees the incoming checkmate. So king takes on f5, we have a check, we have king f4, and now really nice here, queen to e5 check, king on e square, and now you take this pawn for the checkmate. The pawn covers these 2 squares, and the queen does the rest. So with the looming sorry, not back rank, but with the looming checkmate threat, white is still able to deliver checkmate, and Alekhine finds a really nice combination. Now that's pretty much how the game kind of went. Bogoljubov won some games to his credit, so it's not like it was completely one-sided or something like that. But still an underwhelming performance from a challenger, and especially if Alekhine said that, yeah, well, actually, yeah, you know. So yeah, actually, he's not that good of an opponent. That's what I was trying to say. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video nonetheless, and I'll see you in the next video with something much more interesting. So if you're gonna check that out, that's gonna be great. So I'll see you all in the next one. Kowalsky